So in this list of words, we're using the zhen sound, S-I-O-N. So when you hear shin, you commonly write T-I-O-N, and when you hear zhen, you're going to write S-I-O-N. On some occasions, you will use S-I-O-N for the shin sound, but most of the time it's going to say zhen. So we've got decision, division, revision, inclusion, conclusion, transfusion, occasion, explosion, persuasion, and supervision. So if you look at the rule card and you go to point number 3, we commonly use zhen after a final voice consonant, which would commonly be a D or an L. So you can see that this is happening in many of these words. Decision comes from the word decide, division comes from the word divide. So you've got that D, that voice consonant D before the zhen, so before we changed it to a zhen sound. And you can also just know that you're going to write zhen whenever you hear S-I-O-N, whenever you hear that zhen sound. There's no other representation for it. So if we go through these words, we've got, I'd suggest you go through and highlight the S-I-O-N in each of them and anything else that you can see in there that may make the spelling easier for you. But decision is a conclusion or resolution reached after consideration. Division is a process of splitting or sharing. Revision is the process of looking over materials again. Inclusion is the action or state of including or being included in a group or structure. Conclusion is the result or outcome of something. A transfusion is transferring donated blood or another fluid into the circulatory system. Occasion is a particular event or the time at which it takes place. Explosion is a violent shattering or blowing apart of something as is caused by a bomb. Persuasion is the act of convincing, and supervision is the act of managing and directing. Go through and highlight the S-I-O-N in each of these words. These words are all nouns, and when we add S-I-O-N to the end of them, we're hearing the zhen sound, but we know we're forming a noun. So highlight anything within those words that will make the spelling easier for you too. Now then you have to read the word, cover it, write it, and check it. Now write the list word that means. So we've given you some definitions here. We need you to write the list word for that definition over on this right hand side. Fill in the gaps with the list word. This is to make sure that you know the meanings of these words and can apply them in a sentence. Then down the bottom, write a sentence that includes both list words. So we've given you 2 list words. You're going to have to think to be able to put these together. We're making it a little bit tricky for you, but we want you to be able to work those out. Fill in the expression and write the meaning. So jump to the what does it mean and rise to the what does that mean. So if you're not sure on those expressions, you may need to discuss them within your group. Now do refer to the spelling rules card 47 to find out more about the zhen sound and when it applies and why we use it. Highlight any of the phonograms that you can see in these words to make the spelling easier, then read them, cover them, write and check. Down here you have to turn the list words from a noun, they're all nouns, into a verb, then use it in a sentence. So revision would go to revise as a verb, so you can work your way through those. Occasion is tricky, so you may need to discuss that within your group. Turn the list word from a noun into an adjective, then use it in a sentence. So inclusion would go to inclusive. So work your way through those. Write the adjective first and then create your sentence. Down the bottom, we want you to fill in the gaps with a list word in any form. Now it could be a noun, a verb or an adjective. You've had some practice up here. You've got your nouns at the top, so that shouldn't be too bad. But to also help you, we've given you the correct number of letters for each of those filling words. Once you can easily understand syllables being either open or closed, it leads easily into using flow lines in your writing. So that's what we're going to lead you into on this page. So you know the vowels can make a long sound, A, E, I, O, U, and Y can make the long sound E, like in happy, or I, like in my. Any vowel with an R makes a long vowel sound, and these are called the R-controlled vowels. Now if we go back to our vowels, they can also make a short sound, A, E, I, O, and Y can make the short sound I. So if you have a short vowel sound, you need to close the syllable with a consonant. If you have a long vowel sound, you're going to leave the syllable open. That means it's not going to have a consonant at the end of the syllable. You're going to cut the syllable before then. So our instructions are: open and closed syllables are like an open and closed sandwich. An open syllable has a long vowel and is not closed with a consonant, no bread on top. So you've got long vowel, no final sound, it's an open syllable. Hotel. So the ho is left without a consonant at the end of that syllable. Now over here, a closed syllable has a short vowel sound and is closed with a final consonant. That's the bread on top. So a short vowel plus final consonant, we've got hotel. You've got a short vowel followed by that final consonant. So that's a closed syllable versus an open syllable. So these are the rules for syllabification. So all syllables must have a vowel sound. We know that. I think rhythm is the only one that doesn't, and that's because it goes from Old Latin to Greek to English, and unfortunately it's the English who took out the vowel. All syllables must have a vowel sound, so we know that. So even in, as you look down here and you see settlement, the only reason there's that E after the L there is to add a vowel to that syllable. If a word has two consonants between the vowels, divide the word between the two consonants, because that's indicating that you have a short vowel sound. Now the two consonants don't have to be the same, they can be different, as we see in chimpanzee here. Number 3 rule, closed syllables, the syllable ends with a consonant after a short vowel sound, so you've got cabin. If you try and say that as a long vowel sound, cabin, you know there's no such word. So you know that the final consonant has to sit with that short vowel. It's going to be a short vowel sound. So it will be cabin. There's no double consonant there. Open syllables, the syllable ends with a long vowel sound. So you've got spider. So you'd be splitting that between the I and the D. You can hear that long vowel sound in each of those words. Now let's put it all together and break these multisyllabic words into open and or closed syllables. If you get stuck, go back to our rules up here and that should help you. But if you look at laboratory, you've got lab, at is a short sound, so you close the syllable with a consonant, or is a long vowel sound, at is a short vowel sound, so you close the syllable with the T, or is a long vowel sound, and then you've got that long Y-E sound at the end. Now then when you're writing and you get to a long, you want to use a long word with that's multisyllabic and you're not sure how to spell it, just break it up into its syllables. So work out how many parts there are to the word, draw your little hills for each part of the word or each syllable, and then fill in the little gaps. So the development of a seed, so you've got development, it makes the spelling of long words really easy and ensures accuracy. So you can work your way through them. We've given you some examples to try, just to show, just to prove to you how easy it is to use these longer words, because the phonics in them is much simpler than in shorter words.